Hey, Mark Meldrum, Meldrum's Monster Garage, sponsored by Great Lakes Fence, and you're going to hear me say Great Lakes Fence a lot more now that we have the El Camino in Meldrum's Monster Garage, and we'll be working on this for the next several weeks as we fine-tune it and get it running nice. Of course, Mike Ely owns Great Lakes Fence. This is his car. So we would like funding to continue to come to this car, so get out there and buy some more fences. But today, we're watching Sherlock Holmes, so we're doing a little detective work. And when I do detective work, I like to use a great book by Dale McIntosh, and that's the data guide for Chevelles 64 to 72. There's a lot of great information in here that helps you decode the body tags and the serial numbers and some of the codes on the car. So we'll talk about that today. So as you can see, this car has a big block in it, 396, and I do believe it is a 66 big block based on the oil filter underneath. It's got the can type oil filter. So we'll check into that further. But what originally came in this El Camino, since it is a 13680 code on the body tag, you'll see that number. That's a V8. So it's not the big block. That would be a 138 code. It's a 136, which means there was a small block in here. Now, they made 24,337 of the El Caminos in 1966. And this particular 66 was made in the third week of January. Another code on the body tag is 762, means black leather bucket seats, which the car has black leather bucket seats. It was built in Baltimore, and that color code for it is HH, which is willow green, which is the color of the car. So that's pretty cool as far as that goes. I did get up under the car, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that's about all I can tell from the body tag. There's not a lot of extra numbers on it except production run numbers. So, hey, that's a cool car, and we'll keep working on it here. We're gonna get the hood off. We're gonna get it started back up. Just to look things over a little bit and make sure I feel comfortable with the motor before I take it out. And like I say, we'll beautify the motor. And I've already got parts on order coming in. So the first thing for this is we're going to convert to disc brakes. Got a new disc brake package coming specifically for 14-inch wheels. So that should be interesting. The last few disc brake projects I've done, I did one for 14-inch wheel, and I had to modify the disc brake so it would fit within the wheel. And then of course on the Aquaman, it has 15-inch wheels, and we upgraded that to 15-inch wheels, so I didn't have to worry about wheel clearance on that. But what I did have to worry about was I put a new spindle on there that changed the geometry of the front end, and it actually pushed the wheel a little more forward, and I did have some rubbing issues on the front fender. But hey, that's beside the point. Let's talk about Project El Camino, Mike Ely's 66 El Camino, Great Lakes Fence. Get out there and buy a fence so I can keep buying parts. Chevelle Club, and how fitting that we're watching Sherlock Holmes as we try to figure out what's up with this 66 El Camino that we're going to call a Cisco Kid. So let's do a little detective work before we start taking things apart. And the first thing we did, I looked at, was I ground off a little bit of there. Oh, the light's not so great. So there we go. So this is a CF code rear end. Okay. This is a 331 Posi 12-bolt rear end. Still got the Posi tag on there and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Looks like we've got some air shocks underneath here. Very convenient to have air shocks when you have a El Camino because if you got a greater load in the bed, you can simply boost up the shocks. And look there, look at the rear springs. And look at that. We talked about the hold down on 66 Chevelle springs. So there's the hold down. So this is a true 66 Chevelle rear end. And then you can see the cushion up there on the rear end. So this car's setting pretty good as far as the rear end goes. But hey, you probably noticed something missing there. Where's the exhaust system? We don't have any exhaust system. And we're going to have to get that taken care of. But you'll also notice that, hey, the floor pans are really cool on this. No rust through issues or anything. And of course, this is an El Camino, so the frame is boxed in. Very cool. And I'm not used to seeing this type of cross member attachment, so that's something unique for me. I've not really got into. And then we got the engine up here, nice and greasy 4-speed. Looks like the rear main seal is leaking, causing oil to go here to here. Okay, so we'll have to get that taken care of. And of course, we'll take a look at the clutch too when we get everything apart and whatnot. And I've seen some issues here with the headers. So the headers are hitting there, and the headers are hitting here. Very typical with these headers and big blocks. And then the engine, look at that. That looks like it's bumping right there on the oil pan. And I think the reason behind that is, I'll verify that, but these engine mounts, this car, it was built with a V8, but not a 396 V8. So since this wasn't built with a 396 V8, probably just a small block V8, based on the decoding we'll go through in a second, you can see a helper spacer in there. That little rubber piece shouldn't be there. So this has probably got still the small block springs in it with that little rubber bushing in there to keep the front end from sagging. And I do believe there's one on this side too. So, but we're gonna take this apart. We're gonna get the engine out. We're gonna put some disc brakes on so this stops a lot smoother. I'm looking at a disc brake package specifically for 14-inch wheels. So we'll get that taken care of. And of course, we gotta get all these oil leaks taken care of too. So we'll take this apart and get some new seals on that too. All right, so I've had the charger on this overnight, and it looks like we're back up to 100% on the battery. So we should be able to start this big block up today, and I can hear what it sounds like. But let's keep talking about decoding the tag here. So we'll go right over here to the body tag, and it's right there. Okay,